Hey Queens, welcome to another episode of the Fiance Diaries. If you're tuning into my YouTube channel, welcome. I'm the Fiance Coach, also known as Queen T. I love to say that I'm the one and only Fiance Coach because, to be honest, there is not much information for us women once we become engaged, and there's not a lot of information for those women who are on the tippy toe of about to be engaged. Literally, you feel it, you breathe it, you know that it's about to happen. I've been there. My story, I've been engaged 4 times. I said yes to 4 rings, and I said I do to 1 ring. Almost said 3. But my story is known as 3 Rings and a Promise, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook for your enjoyment. I would like to say for your journey, but enjoyment came up for some reason. I had a friend of mine who recently reread my book, and she said, not to be mean, but it makes me laugh. You know, some of the events that took place, and I said to her, it makes me laugh as well. So that's how it is. When life goes on, you realize that, oh my God, some of the stuff you have been through, it's just like, I can't even believe I've been through it. It's mind-boggling. But at the same time, when you know you can laugh about it, you know that you've healed from it. And that's a good thing for me. And this was a close friend, so I knew she didn't mean any harm by it. If anything, she was around when most of the events were taking place. So it was kind of like we were reminiscing and catching up. But today I wanted to talk to you ladies about the difference between a perfect wife and a praying wife. And I felt like a lot of us women fall into one of either category, and we believe that we fall into one over the other when we end up kind of like psyching ourselves out a bit. Now, it's known that, okay, I should be a praying wife. That's a good thing. I consider myself a praying wife. But I'd hate to bring it to a lot of you ladies' attention, including my own. Sometimes we end up being known as a perfectionist or trying to strive to be a perfectionist. Now, the reason I even brought today's topic up was because this past weekend, I told my husband I wanted to watch a movie, and for some reason, I stumbled upon War Room. Have you queens heard of that movie before? It is available on Amazon as well. I was able to rent it for about $3.99, and it was like an instant, this instant demand, especially because of COVID, we're able to get things so fast and so rapidly. But I do believe that Amazon had that feature before. I just never used it before COVID, honest to God. I would use, what is that thing? iTunes. I'm looking at my computer and I'm like, what is that thing? I would download and rent on iTunes. Anyway, back to the point. I was watching War Room, which stars Priscilla Shirer, and Priscilla Shirer is someone that I follow, and I very much just admire the type of woman she is. I try not to indulge myself into too many people because you don't want to worship people. That's why you just want to admire people from afar. But she starred in a movie, and my husband watched it with me. Now, mind you, I'd never seen this movie before. And my husband, he had like, oh yeah, I saw it, with the cocky husband. And I'm just looking at him because I never thought that he was a movie carnivore. But he just knew all about this movie, and I knew nothing about it whatsoever. I knew that it had a biblical, gospel, Christian concept and foundation to it, but I didn't know what the plot of the story was. I didn't read it beforehand. I just know that you know what? That's how I even heard of the movie. I was watching a sermon by Priscilla Shirer, and a lot of the times she'll have ads come on her YouTube channel, and they will advertise movies that she's been in or Bible studies that she's written. And that's how I even heard about the movie. That is crazy. So War Room was the movie we decided to watch. I had no idea that it was talking about marriage, and it was talking about a woman in her prayer life. And it really made me see things like, wow, like, okay, this was perfect timing to watch this movie because it brought up this topic. But not only that, it also made me, look in the mirror at myself. Now, in the movie, I wouldn't say that Priscilla considered herself a perfect wife, but she wasn't really a praying wife either. I won't get into the plot of it. It is a really interesting movie, and if you're like me, I was very emotional, so I had like my husband like wiping my eyes, and he's just looking at me like I'm crazy, and I'm kind of like side-eyeing him like, I saw you drop a tear too, but it's all good. It was a good movie though. Now, this praying woman versus a perfect woman, or praying wife versus a perfect wife, gets into this battle, because when you think about it, being a praying wife is it seems natural. It seems like, okay, like Proverbs 31 woman, that's what we all consider ourselves to be. We immediately strive to be this Proverbs 31 woman. But at the same time, a lot of our actions, we beat ourselves up for things that we don't achieve, as if we wanted things to happen in a methodical, perfectional way. And when it doesn't happen, the events seem to affect us and literally torment us for things that we weren't able to achieve, failures that what we consider failures that we made in life, and how we view ourselves after that. For me, my biggest thing for years was that I didn't get into law school. I talk about that in 3 Rings of a Promise a little bit, and how that just kind of made me feel like I wasn't as smart as I thought I was, and it made me feel like, oh, well, I'll just take this alternate route. And the alternate route to me wasn't another success. It kind of felt like I was settling. And it's just like, when did this idea of, okay, I can't be a lawyer. The lawyer was the perfect goal, so I'll just settle to be something else. But couldn't I be just as good in the other skill set? Maybe some of you ladies can resonate with what I'm saying. There's something in life that you were striving to achieve. And I don't know if it be a relationship. I don't know if it's a job. I don't know if it's dealing with education. I don't know if it's a personal goal that you gave yourself or a professional goal. But when you didn't hit the mark exactly where you planned, you beat yourself up about it. And you don't just beat yourself up about it at that moment. It's like a cycle. You always remember it, and it continues to make you afraid of pursuing future avenues and trying new things in life. And it causes us to fear. And we say that we're praying women, but because we haven't been able to hit our perfectionist goals, it prevents us from taking these higher heights and going for these bigger goals, because we're afraid to feel the fear that we once felt from a goal in the past that we failed at. And tying the wife portion into it, when you become a wife, I don't care what any woman says, you want to feel like you're the best wife for your husband. Like no other woman, no other chica can be a good wife to your husband, only you. And if you should have an open communication with your husband, he should be able to bring things to your attention. You should be able to bring things to his attention. And when they bring stuff to you, it makes you feel a certain way. If you don't feel a certain way, maybe you're just not in tune with your femininity, and that's okay, because that's something I'm still learning today. But for instance, my husband was recently sharing something with me that he wanted me to change, and I always thought that I always thought I was really good at it, and I always felt like, oh, like it was okay. But when my husband shared his feedback with me, it kind of just made me feel like, oh man, like I'm not great at it, like I'm not perfect, like that doesn't mean he hate me. I just started doing a lot of internalization, and weeks had went on, and we had talked about it again, and I told him, like, man, like I was feeling like, from him sharing that with me, it really made me feel like I wasn't a good wife. And he had to tell me, like, you're a great wife, like you're the best wife. But so it was just like one little thing, and I don't know, it was, honestly, ladies, it was about something I cooked. It was about something I cooked, and I don't even remember what I cooked. I just know that he didn't like it, and I remember what it is. Okay, so I really get like motivated in the kitchen. I love cooking meals for my family. I love it. As a single woman, I probably would like skip some meals because I was trying to like keep my figure in shape, and I had a lot on my mind. But now knowing that I have a husband, I like to cook. It's just something I like to do. So I was making turkey meatballs, and I kept making meatballs, not all the time, but then eventually my husband told me like, babe, I really don't like turkey. I really don't like them. Like, I eat them because you make them, but I don't like them. And I beat myself up about this, that he didn't like turkey meatballs. I felt like it was disgusting. Like I made it bad and I didn't do a good job on the meatballs. And I really made it about myself. And weeks had gone on and I got a little frustrated. Like, well, you told me that you didn't like meatballs, and I don't know, like I'm trying to like find something else to cook so that I'm not cooking the same things all the time. And he was just like, me not liking meatballs has nothing to do with you. I never liked them as a kid, et cetera, et cetera. And I was just like, oh, so it had nothing to do with me. Now that one situation is so tiny, but imagine bigger situations that we allow to get the best of us because we like to play this, put ourselves in our minds in this prison where we are constantly replaying a scenario, and it's producing many scenarios in our head that are unreal. They're so far from the truth, and it makes us feel a certain way. It makes us start to doubt everything, because I started to doubt, well, does he not like all my cooking? Like, is all of my cooking disgusting? And, is he just pretending that he likes it just so that he doesn't hurt my feelings? And, if he would like not finish his plate, it would make me think like, oh, this batch must be disgusting as well, just like he didn't like the meatballs. And it's just like, why am I doing this to myself? Okay, he doesn't like meatballs, or maybe I screwed up on the barbecue chicken someday, but either way, that has nothing to do with what type of wife I am. It was just something that happened along the journey, and we keep going. And I'm here to inspire you ladies, because sometimes we don't know how to keep going. Sometimes we just stay stuck in the cycle. We stay stuck in the moment, and we don't know how to move on. Instead, we should be a praying wife. And I brought up War Room. Please go watch it, because when she became a praying wife, the things that she wanted in her house started happening. The little things no longer bothered her. It just no longer bothered her. Her situation was totally different, but I believe in that. I believe that if we change in a direction, that we start praying and we stop thinking that our husband is supposed to compliment us on every little thing to let us know, oh, babe, you're doing a great job. Oh, you're a perfect wife. We wouldn't even worry about the little things, because we would be confident in who we are. That's what prayer does. It brings confidence to you. I'm going to reiterate Proverbs 31, Proverbs 31 woman, verses 10 through 31. In the beginning of Proverbs, it talks about the Proverbs man. Nobody even talks about the Proverbs man. Everybody just highlights the Proverbs woman. And this woman, she had a lot going on, all these people praised her for her works, even her children, even her husband, because of who she was. And there was a confidence that exuded from her no matter where she went. So I urge us to be this type of woman. Strive to be the praying woman. Strive to be the one that people admire you, and you're not even stressing about them admiring you, because you're confident in who you are. You admire yourself. You are your true wife goals. Okay, let's not misconstrue when we talk about wife goals, because I don't want everybody to think that being a wife is the main goal. No, you are called to be a woman, a queen, and on this journey of fulfilling your purpose, if God so sees you fit, you end up becoming a wife. Now, I believe that if it's on your mind, if it's on your heart for the right reasons, and you find yourself constantly being in this season where marriage is being brought to your attention, either you're engaged, either you've been thinking about it, either it's just something that dropped in your spirit, I believe you are called to be a wife. But don't think that being your wife is okay, I made it to the destination, let me rest here and let me be perfect in this. No. Oh no, there's so much more in you, and I want you to bring that out of you by finding other things that you're great at. So what, Tarjay, you didn't get into law school? So what, Queen, that you didn't get the A plus in the class? You got the A minus, you still got the degree, right? So try to look at things through a different lens so that you aren't beating yourself up, you aren't holding yourself back from achieving more in life, and that you aren't afraid to walk upon new journeys and take on new opportunities that will expand and excel you to the next level. Because if you think about it, I didn't get into law school, but I'm living in Germany right now. Like, what? Like, this is amazing. So the way I'm looking at it is like, if I went to law school, this probably would not be, because I'd probably have to be on site. I'd probably be stressed out, wouldn't have time to even think about MSCOC, the Fiancé Diaries podcast, 3 Rings and a Promise. It just wasn't for me. And that doesn't mean that I wasn't great at something. It just means that there was another route for me to take. And had I not forgiven myself for it and move on, I probably would still be stuck in the same season. So my motivation for you today, Queens, is to strive to be a praying wife and not a perfect wife, because being a perfect wife will leave you in this season of misery. But when you are a praying wife, you're constantly striving and growing and building confidence in who you were always meant to be. All right, Queens, I hope that blesses you. I hope that touches you. And be sure to share this with another queen. I love y'all. Until next time, let's roll. Gotta go.